Hello, Hannah and Sareeta and Marina. We are here to talk about the training about raging mothers. You have been holding a few trainings, or at least, yeah, some of you have held more than one. And just wanted to, ask you about what was the necessity for you? Like, why did you feel that there was a necessity to have this kind of training about learning mothers how to use their conscious anger? Who wants to start?
I start to, when you start to ask me this question, Annika, I start to remember the seed of Raging Mothers when Sarita and I went to have a month in Cape Verde with mothers and only mothers and children. And in the middle of the bridge house, the bridge house is a place to live together and empower one another, and seeing also what's your next experiment, what actually your pain and what you want to see and transform the pain. And my main pain was that I couldn't not give my, like, I was always giving my center to my son. And so I discovered that, and I said, I need a team. I need a team to empower me, to create the space, enough space for me to change this behavior and to change the dynamic. So I asked Sareeta, would you be on my team for that? And then it was my main topic. And from that seed, I could discover that we were both creating experiments to create and to deconstruct memes and behaves that we were creating as a mother. As soon as we became a mother, a lot of engineer inside of me and reactions and actions were not mine, were like from a state or from a character of mother that I was playing as a role. And so I want to create this space where I could finally find where I was in that, and also seeing my son as a being, not as my son. So I had like moments of really like expanding my consciousness and having the clarity that that's the way that I want to create relationship with as a mother and with children, not only with my son, but with children in general. And so we were practicing a lot. In the meanwhile, like the children were playing, and me and Sareeta were discovering every single minute new things and new ways to start to see this perspective of motherhood in another dimension. So that was the main thing. And then from that moment, we start to get together and we create the messy space for parents. So we were seeing each other 3 times a week. And from that space, like after the bridge house, when we came back to the, let's say, the normal life, then a lot of things were happening. And then we start to see each other a lot to keep discovering. And then the Raging Mothers was born. And Sareeta, I don't know if you want to say something about or even the before was born.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it was everything Marina said, and it was it was the Skill Up team. I was in the Skill Up team, and there was this. I'd done Rage Club Spaceholder training before, and I actually went through it twice, but I just didn't take the step to hold space for Rage Club. And it was so clearly my next step. And I remember Anne Chloe saying to me, like, what is your next step? And I think I made a declaration there that I'm going to hold a Rage Club. And and not by myself, with someone. And I knew that it was really a space for mothers that I wanted to create with Marina, because exactly what she said, we were doing the messy spaces, and it was not enough. Like, we were meeting 3 times a week for half an hour, and I wanted more. It was like, these short bursts, and also it was this next step, because Marina and I, we had the Bridge House, and then we continued Messy Spaces. And although we invited people in, like we shared it with people, I think energetically we hadn't really opened the space up. Like, it was really just still for us.
Mm.
And then taking the step for Raging Mothers was saying, okay, we're actually really ready now to share this with other people. And so that was the step, to say that we want a bigger team. Like, we're ready to invite more people, more mothers to join our team, and to be in this space of discovery with us. And one of my necessities for Raging Mothers is also my personal experience of, anger as a mother, like how it can be so destructive, like destructive in my relationship with my children, destructive against myself when I fail. And that it was constantly, I was ping-ponging between either destroying, like, my children and the way I relate with them, or destroying myself, like constantly, beating myself up. And through the conscious anger work that I had been through, like through the rage clubs that I'd done over the few years, I could see how much that had shifted for me, and changed the way I'm relating with my children. And also even the way that I'm relating with myself, the way I'm speaking to myself, the way I treat myself. And my children are also picking up on that. Like, they notice it, like energetically they're in that field. And it was, yeah, it was really wanting other mothers to know that something else is possible. It's like this big secret that we never got told about, that, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to take it out on your children. Like, there's actually something else that you can do with this energy that's constantly circulating through your system, because it really is there.
Yeah.
And I'll speak about why I'm here, which is I don't actually remember how it came to be, but Marina and Sareeta and I were all in Poland together this August for the trainings. And I think maybe it was that we were doing the Game World consulting, or there was some practice where we were together, we were in a group, and I just I just remember connecting with both of you, and then you, Sarita, you and I had a conversation, and it just seemed so natural. It seemed so obvious, and you were like, will you join Raging Mothers and become a 3-cell with me and Marina? And I was like, yes, of course. And then we were like, where's Marina? We need to find her. And I'm not a mother myself, and I have been in a role of holding space for children in different capacities. So for 5 years, I was basically a step parent, a stepmother to my partner's daughter. So she was just 4. I think she just turned 4 when I met her, and she's 10 now. And so for 5 years, I was really in this role. And as Marina said, I also experienced this thing of, it's like, well, this isn't even me talking right now. Like, this is like the collective kind of agreement or identity of what a mother is and how a mother should behave. And I found myself taking on that identity so deeply of being a mother and all of the things that come with it in the identity of a mother that comes from modern culture, which are things like, you know, self being completely self-sacrificing, like forgetting that I have my own needs, always putting the child's needs first, just things like that. And I really became consumed by this identity of mother. And I I also hold space for children, so I work at a Waldorf school part-time. And so I hold space for children there, and I notice even the same thing happening of not being a mother exactly, but of being a teacher or space holder for children, and starting to behave in these ways that are really unconscious, that are really just replicating the same things that I saw and I experienced, and that have been just patterned in me of, okay, this is how it goes. Okay, I need to uh, be really scared all the time about the children hurting themselves and things like this. And so I was so turned on by this project because I think it's such essential work of how to get out of these unconscious patterns and really become somebody who is a conscious space holder for children, who is choosing to do things not because this is the way that they've always been, or this is how I learned, or this is what uh, appears to be safe, or I'm told is safe, but really is coming from a place of true love and care and honoring these children as beings.
Yeah, thank you. I was doing a internet search about mothers and rage, and there was like a whole list of this kind of mom rage, like references. So that it is really like a thing. I mean, it's something I think every mother has. Like comes this kind of anger, explosive anger, and just like really having this training. This actually there's so much need for it or necessity for it, and just like, yeah, I wish I wish more mothers would kind of find this kind of training to get in touch with this anger, so that it's not just kind of this reactive being in this kind of mother identity, kind of, yeah, somehow robot anger.
Everyone has been telling me that I need to see the movie Night Bitch. Has anybody else heard about this?
No, not
Okay,
yet.
maybe, yeah, maybe it's just a thing in the States right now,
Mm,
but it's a movie about motherhood and rage. So it's
mm.
this
Mhm.
mother who is a single mother. She's raising her child on her own, and it's actually directed by a parent at the Waldorf school. So I think why everyone is telling me I need to go see it.
Mm.
But yeah, it's definitely in there's something in the field, in the collective consciousness or awareness that is starting to wake up, I think.
Yeah, I was looking up this the poster for this Raging Mothers training, and you had a subtitle that said, "Leave the Good Mother Prison."
Mhm.
You open up to people that wouldn't be so familiar with what is the Good Mother Prison, for example.
There's something that I want to say just before about this survival strategy of mothers in general. Like I need to do everything by my own, and so having this kind of automatic mechanism of I need to be good, I need to be the perfect. And I remember my first years, like I need to, because there's also this thing I need to know. Yeah, I need to have intimacy moments that I know, and I need to discover what this being is saying and expressing. But then there is like this moment that usually mothers start to isolate themselves, and I need to get, and then I remember to have this kind of sword, like going to places and don't give the sweet to my son, or don't saying this way. And I was like almost defending on the time, like the territory, because in modern culture there are like so many, like let's say I forgot the word, but it's like I'm remembering in Italian the word that is like threaten, like it's threatening to be in modern culture with a small child. So I remember to be like much more in survival, like like trying to have a battle with a dragon, like, and then they are kind of eating, the aliveness of my child. And so there is this part that, the first years I see that if the mother doesn't live in a community or in a village, they are a big part of the day they are just surviving and not living really fully. And so and really to become this kind of role or this character, I really say that it's a character that we watching films, we watching advertising, we watch, like we see in pictures of in 50s, in 40s, like this image of the mother that creates everything, the perfect environment. And then of course this mother is completely just in survival and isolating. And so this is a prison. This being this character is the prison of this good mother. And when we are holding space for these mothers, the first thing is really to get together finally, like only mothers, because now you're saying, Hannah, about probably this raging mothers in the future. We will start to hold space also for children, like space holders for children, for example. Maybe the second season, it will be something like the updating the raging mothers. But I can see how much there's the need of mothers going first, like the mothers going first and cracking the prison of being the good mother.
So Rita and I were saying yesterday, we were on a call, and we'll have to change the name to Raging Spaceholders for Children.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't there yesterday. Yeah, so we are tuned.
Yeah.
You were clearly there energetically.
Yes, I am.
There's something about this prison, like, because what I'm discovering since that training is that it's almost like there's two layers to this prison. There's one prison which is this good need to be perfect, and Marina, you actually already said it, and then the second is I have to keep everything safe for myself and for my children. And so what I'm discovering though is in that prison that you create, there's also a battle that happens within yourself, because I need to keep everything safe, I keep everyone out. So you created this safe environment, and then you judge your children for not, or you judge yourself for things that are not happening.
Will you say I, Sareeta?
Yeah, and then I judge myself for what's not happening. So my children are not like this, or I don't have the village, or I don't have support. And it's, yeah, so this prison, in my discovery, it's like, I'm still discovering this. It's like, it feels like it's double, it's like two prisons. It's one prison and then another. And yeah, what that series that we did was really exactly that bit where you switch into that kind of gear of I need to be perfect. and how constricting that is.
Will you say again, Sarita? Because I'm not sure that I got it. So the first prison is the needing to be perfect, and then the second prison is the judging, like judging myself for doing that.
No, the second prison is I need to keep my children safe and myself safe. So there's this prison of keeping the world around us so safe that it becomes so small.
Mm.
And then it's very constricting. And it's, yeah, that's part of my quest right now, is how do I break out of this prison, this need to keep everything safe, as well as also this prison of trying to be good and perfect and have everything in order.
Mhm.
Yeah. And for me, that prison of needing to be safe, it became really obvious when I look at how much I want the village around me, and yet how much I've kept it away. So it's like I want the village, but yet I have this barrier, so then I cannot reach the village. They cannot reach me, and I cannot reach them, because there's this wall of protection that I've put up.
And how do you create the barrier?
Mm. It's energetic, and it comes a lot from, like Marina was just saying, like just feeling the threats, and then having the sword out, like this is not good enough, and this is not how I do it, and there's a big part of it is expecting to create an environment or create a village where everybody is like me, so then it is safe, something like that. Like if they don't have the same thoughts, or if they're not in the same context, then they're not safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the research of possibility management is working using your feelings consciously. So, for example, when we are talking about rage, but the rage is, let's say, the space holder. I'd say that the rage is the space holder for your life, like the main space holder. But then there's fear. So when as you're saying, Sarita, when you start to, consciously seeing what the fear is about, and then going, layer by layer, discovering what your fear is informing you, and then you in this training we can go deeply to using your own feelings to see what is blocking you to create the village, or what you want. For example, one of the main practice we start to do to crack the prison of good mother is to say, I hate this, or I love this. So like really lighting up again this fire that was like this, so low, and then when this mother start to say consciously, but then sometimes like, oh, I love this, and I never thought about that, or I hate this, and I've been doing this in these last years, I've been doing every time. So even acknowledging your behaviors and actions that were mechanic, and then you're finally seeing, okay, this is not part of my being, this is just the mechanic. So yeah, it's a place that, as a space holder, I'm talking about myself, we are also learning a lot, creating this space for mothers, and also creating the space to mirror me as a mother.
Yeah, I think I want to go back to what you said quickly, Sarita, because I was getting something like the first prison is putting all this pressure on myself, like putting this pressure on myself to be perfect, to do things the right way. And then the second prison you're talking about is putting pressure on everybody else. Like everybody else needs to be doing it the way I want to do it. Something like that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I actually love the way that you just summarized it. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's this internal, external pressure.
Mhm.
And actually, now when I think about it, it's like having that pressure on other people, it just creates this gap because they can feel it energetically, and so they, you know, it's a great repellent.
Yeah, and it feeds again that the lone wolf strategy of like I need to do it all by myself. I need to, yeah, I need to be the person, the perfect person for my children. And yeah, when you were talking, Marina, it was just bringing up for me this this thing of it's so I love holding this space, like holding the last space with you, Sarita, was just so it was so much fun. It was so ecstatic. And I think it's because, you know, mothers, women who are mothers are some of the people in society who it is the least acceptable to to show anger or to show any kind of dissatisfaction or unhappiness with how things are. And to see the women in that rage club begin to come alive and begin to just say the things that were real for them, that they had been burying and suppressing, was so incredible. It was just, it was seeing like all of this life force energy be liberated. And you could see it's like, we talk about sometimes like it's the like using that energy to tamp the energy down, to suppress it. It's like all that energy is going into actually like suppressing or tamping down the life force energy, and then all of a sudden it's like the lid is blown off, and and people come alive, and it's, yeah, it's just incredible. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, hearing you speak just gets this energetical memory of just kind of becoming the mother, like the mother, and just kind of like somehow I wasn't myself anymore. I wasn't like a person. I was the mother, and just kind of having this kind of, I just have to endure, and everything I do is because like I will live for my kids, and everything I do has to be about the kids and their well-being, and this kind of feeling, this kind of everything, this kind of floating away with like whatever was like the authentic me, just felt like it was just kind of, I don't know, floating away somewhere. So yeah, and just being in rage clubs, I kind of like rediscovering like what I can be or what I am. And I actually like I am not like, I am not my children, and I am not the mother. I am like, I am actually like this being with what I want and what I need and what I, yeah, what I can create. And I also feel a lot of sadness about like how much like life force is lost, like for mothers who just kind of go into this, like put on this helmet of motherhood.
Can you say what you feel? Yeah, can you say a bit more about your sadness?
Yeah. Yeah, sadness is about, it's kind of like what all things are left uncreated by these women, because they have like this story or this identity. As a mother, I cannot create my own things. I cannot be like pursue whatever passions I have, because that no longer somehow is part of this identity as a mother. And just kind of like, and just like the sense of this like kind of pressure cooker somehow. Everything is just kind of left inside bubbling, and it doesn't get out. And then somehow it just kind of gets this, yeah, becomes this so-called mom rage. like snapping at the partner or the children, or just being annoyed at everything, and just the energy doesn't get to kind of flow in the direction of something really like creative or transforming.
Is that a term people use? Mom rage?
It seems to be, according to the internet.
Wow. Okay.
There is a thing called mom rage.
But I'm getting that it's derogatory. It's like yeah, it's a judgment is what I get. Is that accurate?
From I didn't do a lot of studying about this, but from what I read, like there was actually like this what you are talking about, like having this mom rage is about like not having your own time or your own space, and not having boundaries. Like somehow it was very, for me it was like, and a lot of the articles were based on books written by like mother, for example, about postpartum depression and some things like this. So of course it probably can be used as this kind of stamp, but it's I guess it's the way kind of what perspective you look at it. If you look at it as something destructive or something that can be kind of transformed into something else, energy that can be used for other things.
Yeah, and what I get, Annika, is that it's like really being part of the prison is not creating space for you to also to complain, but then you create a time. You create the time, like, okay, would you hold space for me? I want to have time, 10 minutes to complain everything that I would complain in 1 year about, or about the next month. I want to complain. And then you create the time, and then you create a space for this part of you that is not responsible, let's say. And then you just go there and go to this complaining where there is the seed. We found out that from the complaining, there's the seed of the dragon. The speech, the dragon speech comes from this complaining. So with Sareeta during the Bridge House, we were like consciously creating, like really creating the space. Okay, now there's the space we are creating. And then the space for complaining. And then from that, I start to shift, like naturally, I would start to shift into what I want. What I want this, and I want that. So I was sick of my complaining. I went to a moment after, I don't know, some minutes, I don't remember. I started to be sick of my complaining, my own complaining. That, well, okay, that's it. Basta. In Italian would be basta. Okay, now I wanna say what I want. And then from that, I start to, let my dragon speak. And then from this, I could see, okay, that's what I want. And okay, now it's clear. And it's so incredible to create spaces for. This is really like cracking the box, like cracking the matrix of this role, the box of mothers, this prison that we are talking about. And then, okay, now I'm gonna do that. And then also the other way is really to, okay, now the time's up, and now don't complain. And then I'm okay, now I'm in this moment that I'm not gonna complain. I'm gonna say what I want. So this is like these spaces can really shift and transforming things like that would be like shit into gold. Like, okay, complain is shit, but then you compost this, and then there's a lotus flower coming up from this, this, let's say, compost.
And I've tried the conscious complaining with some friends. So, I've met friends and they start complaining, and I say, wait. I'm going to set my timer. You have 10 minutes. You complain for 10 minutes and then it's over. And they're really amazed. They're like, what? And a lot of the time they don't even realize they're complaining until I say, okay, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Like I will listen to you for 10 minutes and then we're done. It really, it works because, you know, people think that they can't, like people, mothers, we think we can't complain. We're not allowed to complain about whatever it is, you know, that we have tons of washing to do or to drive the kids around or whatever it is. And it doesn't mean that you don't love your children and that you're not going to do it. You just want to complain about it. And it's having that freedom and also opening the space for another mother to express that. It really creates something different. And for me, that has also been a way of breaking down the other prison where I'm suddenly because then, you know, then I say, well, now can you listen to me complain? And so it's, you know, I did it for you. And so suddenly it's not this, there isn't this hierarchy. It's like, I have stuff to complain about too.
Yes, and what I love also is that it's that the complaining is not bad. Like it's low drama and it's not bad. Like there's a space for it. And I can have a held space for my complaining. And then like Marina was saying, I can alchemize it. I can compost it and there is gold in it. There's clarity there. But because the anger has no outlet to be expressed, it just gets shoved into the underworld. It gets taken over by gremlin. But there is clarity, and so it's yeah. I find it magic to see what happens when it's just okay. I give it space, and now what is here is just clarity.
So what is the next step for the raging mothers or the raging space holders for children?
It's changing.
Well, Sarita and I met yesterday to discuss the next round of, we're going to call this one Raging Mothers, maybe the one after that, Raging for Children. I don't think the field is quite ready for Raging Space Holders for Children yet, but we'll do 8 weeks this time. So last time we did 5 weeks, and that was something we agreed was just 5 weeks is not enough. It's barely enough to scratch the surface. So we'll do 8 weeks, and yeah, starting in a month, about a month we said. So end of February, beginning of March.
Great.
And okay, sorry, something just came to me, which was another name, because if it was Space Holders of Children, it would be SOC, so it could be Raging Socks.
Let's think about that
one. Marina.
Yeah, I will hold space for Raging Mothers in Portuguese in starting on March 7th. There are already mothers that sign up. How to say that? Yeah, yeah. And so my main language is Portuguese, and I was talking to Sareeta and Hannah how I've been loving to also deliver this training and other trainings in my mother tongue language. And also I will be doing in Italian in the future, because I also speak Italian maybe better than English. And so for me, yeah, that's what I want to do. And yeah, I see how much it's just the beginning of this journey, no, for everybody. I sense that is, I have the sensation that from these last seasons, we really learned a lot, and also have a lot of material, like a lot of material. We'll collect a lot of material, and it could be endless. I can see, like you're saying 8 weeks, but I was imagining like, okay, 1 year, maybe 2 years like of training, of, you know, getting out of the prison and you know, discovering yourself as a woman again. Because yeah, there's also this thing, you know, before you were a mother or you were a woman, and then suddenly like life changed so fast and everything changed so fast that you couldn't have the space to digest things. And so, you know, having so many years of two things to digest, let's say. But it's, yeah, I know there's a woman that participate in 3 raging mothers, and I think she will participate in the other one. So like, maybe she will be, this mother will be 1 year training raging mothers. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and Sarita and I were talking about even in the future creating like a 3-month container. And yeah, I mean, I can see, yeah, 6 months, maybe even a year. Like it it makes so much sense because it is the work is ongoing, and it's yeah, it's so valuable to be with a team, to be with other people who are supporting you through it. And yeah, so we'll see. Maybe that'll be also a step. Uh, Yeah, just a longer iteration.
And
Sounds
maybe
great.
even a raging mother's bridge house.
mm-hmm.
That
Yes, that sounds amazing. I have this sense that we're kind of coming close to the end, and I want to thank you very much for joining me, all 3 of you, to share about your experiences and discoveries from the trainings you've been holding. So thank you very much, and best of luck to all the upcoming trainings.
Thank you, Annika.
Thank you.
Thank you.